Hello, this is Arcade Zeus, and today I will be reviewing The Incredible Hulk. In The Incredible Hulk, Bruce Banner, played by Edward Norton, is a colleague whose number one goal is to search for a cure to a disease he has in which every time his heart rate exceeds 200 beats per minute, he turns into a giant green monster called the Hulk. Though not immediately recognized as one in the film, as a superhero, the Hulk feels practically invincible, with enough strength to take down an entire city if he were to so choose. Though considering his kind heart, we know he never would, so we should feel safe from that ever happening. Except that he isn't real. For the movie's sake, we're assuming he is. My main problem with the movie, however, is how monotonous and slow most of the feature is, when it should be the exact opposite for at least the majority. This wouldn't be a problem if the movie were to offer us an engaging story, though while it tries to do this at various points throughout the movie, and despite a very strong premise, it ultimately fails at this task. The main reason for this failure is that the movie doesn't dedicate nearly enough time to its main story, which is Banner searching for his cure. The movie does offer several subplots that try to amp things up, such as Banner's job in a Brazilian bottle-making factory and his returning relationship with former love interest Betty Ross, played by Liv Tyler, but neither of them are engaging enough or last long enough to make an impact. Another big reason for this failure is that the movie contains too many long drawn-out scenes that add little to nothing to any of the film's plotlines, and on top of all that, most of them don't have the energy you would expect from a Marvel movie, bringing the experience down even further. It is true that there are exceptions to this, and that some moments do grab my attention, but they are not nearly frequent or powerful enough for me to care. However, as all Marvel movies do, this movie offers some great action sequences that provide some energy to the otherwise tone-deaf feature. It's unfortunate that these moments are very few and far between, but at least they offer something to look forward to. The characters in the film are sadly just as poorly done as the story. There's Banner himself, who doesn't offer much outside of his desire to find a cure for his condition. Then there's Ross, who is just the typical love interest, but perhaps the most interesting character in the entire film is Mr. Blue, who for most of the film is only shown as Banner's texting partner. We don't actually see him in person until later on, where he is played by Tim Blake Nelson. None of the other characters are notable enough to even be worth mentioning. Even the film's visual effects, while decent in their own right, failed to live up to the previous movie in the MCU, Iron Man. In fact, the only thing The Incredible Hulk improved on from that film was the music, but still not enough to make a real difference. Overall, The Incredible Hulk had the potential to be a heartbreaking and suspenseful movie, not only filled with intense action sequences, but also charmed with its subplot of Banner and Ross's reunification, and even had the building blocks to do so, with an outstanding premise and an impressive production team backed by two major studios. Instead, thanks to a dispute between the editors and producers that made the final film 23 minutes shorter than originally planned, cutting out most of the backstory, which could have helped to make the film more engaging and less monotonous and boring, the film became a major misfire and was ultimately the least successful MCU film in history, with the lowest numbers at the box office, lower than any other film in the MCU, and one of the lowest critical scores of any Marvel movie ever. I think it's safe to say that this is probably the one Marvel movie you should skip entirely. There may be others along the way that warrant the same decision, but this one is definitely one of those. Anyways, this has been Arcade Zeus, and I'll see you in the next video.